Been a crazy week in the paranormal community. First of all, we started with the Conjuring House, who, well, not the Conjuring House specifically, but speculation surrounding the Conjuring House, as it has been rumoured by Elton Casti himself in a recent overnight video, that Elton Casti and also Matt Rife have purchased a paranormal property, and there's speculation about what said property could be. But here's the speculation. After months of speculation and not knowing what on earth is actually going on, we may finally have an actual update on potentially a haunted location being bought by Elton Casti and Matt Rife. Is it the Conjuring House or is it somewhere else? Well, that's what we're going to be trying to discover in today's video. So, obviously, buying haunted locations seems to be a bit of a trend in the paranormal world. At the moment, at least. We've obviously got Sam and Colby, who bought the Farrar Elementary School last year and used it for their Hell Week, and now they are renting it out as a property for people to go and do paid investigations in. You've also got Sam and Colby, I think they've also bought an escape room kind of building as well, and they've just done something else that they've just announced. That'll be another video. But obviously, when the whole Conjuring House situation was really kicking off, towards the middle of last year, Elton Casti and Matt Rife stated over on Twitter that they were actually interested in purchasing the Conjuring House. So Elton Casti put this tweet out saying, "Does anyone know what's happening with the Conjuring House? Matt Rife and I did make a formal offer to buy, but no response. Seemingly, no one that reached out has heard anything. I'm not deeply following what's happened, so it's likely I've missed some key info." Now, I'm sure, Sarah Ganelli, who of course was keeping on top for, the local news department, probably filled them in with regards to what's actually been going on over there. Now, as far as we're aware, Jacqueline Nunez has stated categorically, absolutely not. There is zero chance that the property will be being sold. She's going to take that shit to the grave. At the moment, she seems to be upholding it because no one's allowed in. No one's been allowed in this side of the calendar year. And, where are we now? July? So that's 7 months where it's just kind of just been sat to rot. Now, J-Carts, obviously Jordan, J-Carts Arts. If you don't know Jordan, then you need to go and check out J-Carts Arts over on YouTube. Has just released a video titled, "Did Elton and Matt Rife purchase the Conjuring House?" Now, I'm going to react to this video because there's some important context from the comment section of this video as well that really kind of paints a picture about what may actually be going on with regards to the Conjuring House. So, let's dive into J-Cart's video.
I can't believe that I am about to say this, but we are formally making the announcement right now that we will be making the announcement next month. But Matt and I are officially buying one of the most haunted locations in the entire world, in my opinion, and I think we're all going to agree on this. I'm actually standing in it right now. It's a place that no one has been in for a while, but I'm promising you this right now, it will be open to...
I mean, my first assumption here, and I think all of us can probably agree, I'm looking at the boards, the wood, and I could be completely wrong. 199% wrong. My first assumption, and I think a lot of your guys' too, it's the Conjuring House. Him and Matt probably got a chance to purchase the actual Conjuring House. He's right. Not a lot of people have been in this house for a while.
Now, obviously, like I've just stated, okay, the Conjuring House has been left barren for about 7 months. It is deemed to be one of the most haunted properties in the world. J-Carts does go on to kind of speculate about it, whether, about the tiles on the back or the bricks and, the wooden boarding, potentially it being the basement. Obviously, he gets into that later on in the video.
Not since Jacqueline Nunez, the previous owner, had her situation and she bailed. She has a warrant for her arrest in the state of Rhode Island, so there wasn't really a whole lot she could do with the place. So going off this clip alone, I have done as much research as I can on the basement of the Conjuring House because that is where I'm assuming if it were filmed anywhere in that house, it would be filmed in the basement since there is brick around him. I could not find any ounce of any brick that looked just like that, or even the boards in the background that look specifically like that. Maybe I'm blind, and that's okay if I am. I just may have completely missed the mark here. But I am really not seeing anything that looks like where he's standing in that basement. He could always be somewhere else on the outside of the house. He could be standing in the garage for all I know. I know the barn caught fire a while back, but I mean, he really could be. He does say he's standing inside the house, so I'm assuming it would be there. If it was there, it would be there. I'm going to guess it is the Conjuring House, but going off of what I'm seeing, I'm not 100% convinced it really is. He might have just gotten a different house, depending on whether or not Jacqueline Nunez wanted to sell it to them or not. And she didn't sound interested in selling it, so I don't know. But I want to go ahead and show you guys that I'm not seeing the spot here. The brick throughout the entire basement. This might be the cleanest looking brick here, honestly, but it is very. It's hard to tell. Unless they had brickwork done in the basement, it's not the same brick at all. I know I'm doing a deep dive and, I'm nerding out and stuff, but I'm genuinely curious. Did they buy the house? That would be, in my opinion, I think they would be a good pick to own the house. I think they would show it a lot of respect. Certainly a lot more than the previous owner has. I mean, at this rate, the place is just sitting and getting worse by the minute. So you never know what they could have done to the house in this period of time. Honestly, I'm only speculating. I really don't know. But yeah, we can look everywhere, and I've been in this basement a couple times. I do not see the connections between this basement and where Elton's standing. So he must have filmed that somewhere else on the property, or it is a completely different house in general. Out of curiosity, let me know in the comments, what do you think? Do you think he bought the house? Do you think him and Matt Rife actually just got a hold of the owner and were like, hey, can we just go ahead and do this? And she was like, yeah, I can't do much anyways with it, so I might as well go ahead and sell it. I'm curious to know your opinions down below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel.
I would genuinely be surprised, obviously, because there's a lot that's gone into this, right? So the last that we heard, she was in multiple news outlets stating, I will not be selling the Conjuring House under any circumstance. Now, obviously, that was when it was an operational business, and just after it got closed down. I can imagine that the upkeep, the rent, or whatever it is that you pay, a mortgage towards the property, I don't know how these kind of businesses typically work, I can imagine that the upkeep for it is becoming a financial burden, especially considering you're not able to open it. But there's something else that's worth noting. Obviously, the state of Rhode Island stated that prior to it being able to reopen, the property must undergo some serious renovations to make it, first of all, safe for people to visit, because the floorboards are, on their last legs. The sprinkler system needed to be updated because it was a fire hazard. So there is a good possibility that the purchase may have gone through, a couple of months ago. And in that couple of months, Matt Rife, Elton Castee have invested a shed load of cash into it to try and, renovate and build up the upkeep for the property. Possibly. Again, that is mere speculation. Jordan obviously does quite a great job of diving in through the virtual tour, like the Google Earth style thing, going through the property, trying to find that specific spot. But, like was said there, he couldn't find the specific place unless some serious renovation has been done. But as well, you'd think a property that, or like a purchase this high profile, especially in the state of Rhode Island, after all of the controversy that's gone on, there would have been a sniff of something online that would suggest that the purchase had gone through, or that there were rumours and mumbles of the purchase going through. Someone would have spoken to the journalists, like, Sarah Ganelli, for example, possibly. It's quite a small town from what, like, not a small town, but, it's like, people talk. Anyway, over on Jordan's comments section, if you scroll down, Overnight themselves have left a comment stating, "You're closer to the answer than you realise," which is obviously very, very interesting. Looking at the comments section, people are talking about, like, it's just kind of very cryptic. People are like, well, what are you talking about? I think around July 31st is when they're, supposed to be kind of spilling the tea about where they've purchased. So it'll be very interesting to see. Jason Hawes himself has responded to this as well. That's not the basement of the Conjuring House. It could be the Amityville house. That is a similar look in the basement to the one that he's in, which is really, really interesting. Yeah, obviously the Amity house is very, very haunted as well, allegedly, and there was a lot that's gone on. There was that Ryan Reynolds film about the Amityville horror house. It's a very interesting thing. Obviously, Jake Arts has done a fantastic job of delivering this and, you know, trying to piece it together based off of the comments as well and the information that we've got from Jacqueline. It's Elton and the Overnight guys are obviously being very cryptic, keeping their cards close to their chests. Jason's chimed in and been like, "That I don't think that's the Conjuring House." It's interesting. It's very exciting. I'm intrigued to see now. I'm very intrigued to see. Let me know what you guys think. Is it the Conjuring House? Could it be the Amityville house? Or is it just a completely different property entirely? Obviously, but there's a good possibility that if Elton turns around and says, "Oh no, it's not the Conjuring House" in J Cart's video, it may kill all hype for it, potentially. It probably won't, but, you know, there's that possibility that people might be like, "Oh, well, if it's not the Conjuring House, I'm not interested." So that might be why they're being quite cryptic. I don't know. Moving forwards from this, we had the unfortunate news that paranormal investigator and lead investigator at the NESPR, Dan Rivera, sadly passed away in Gettysburg whilst on the Devil on the Run tour with the Annabelle doll. Today we had the incredibly unfortunate news that paranormal investigator and enthusiast Dan Rivera unfortunately has passed away. Now, regardless of what you think about the Annabelle doll, about Dan himself, or the paranormal in general, I think it's important to remember the context of, you know, what's actually happened here with someone actually passing away. So please, you know, if I can just ask anything, please be respectful down in the comments section. You know, keep it classy, please. You know, because ultimately, you know, this is quite a tragic loss, not just for, you know, the paranormal, but for Dan's family, friends, and loved ones. So, in case you don't know who Dan was, he's a very well-known paranormal investigator from Bridgeport, Connecticut, who sadly passed away at the age of 54 on July 13th of 2025 during the tour in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, showcasing the reportedly haunted Annabelle doll as part of the Devils on the Run tour, organised by the New England Society and Psychic Research Group, or otherwise known as the NESPR. Now, obviously, it's important to kind of remember who Dan was. So, obviously, Dan Rivera was a US Army veteran who was introduced to the paranormal phenomena at a young age, having witnessed unexplained events in his childhood home in Bridgeport. He was also an expert in the rites and rituals in Santeria, in syncretic religion, blending Yoruba traditions with Catholicism. Now, Rivera had over a decade of experience in the paranormal research and investigations, and he served with senior lead investigators for the NESPR, a Connecticut-based organization founded by Ed and Lorraine Warren before their passing, known for their work, of course, on high-profile cases like the Annabelle doll. Now, Rivera was mentioned by Lorraine Warren and worked closely with Tony Spera, her son-in-law, handling some of the most notorious artifacts in the Warrens' occult museum, including the Annabelle doll, which is said to be demonically possessed. Now, of course, earlier this year it was announced that, the doll itself was going to be going on tour around America on the Devils on the Run tour, where he and the other NESPR members travelled across the United States displaying the Annabelle doll, which of course is a Raggedy Ann doll linked to paranormal activity since the 1970s, obviously popularised by the Conjuring film franchise. He contributed to the tour's success through TikTok videos co-produced with paranormal investigators Ryan Daniel Boole, some garnering millions of views. The tour included a sold-out stop in Gettysburg hosted by the ghostly images of Gettysburg, drew both fascination and controversy due to the superstition surrounding the doll. Now, sadly, we had the news that he passed away suddenly in Gettysburg hotel room on July 13th of 2025. Emergency responders attempted CPR, but the cause of death remains undisclosed at this time, with an autopsy results pending as of July 15th, 2025. The Adams County coroner confirmed that the death was not suspicious, and the Annabelle doll was not present at the scene, possibly stored in a van. NESPR and colleagues, including Chris Gillerin and Ryan Buell, mourned Rivera, describing him as a passionate, kind, and charismatic figure dedicated to educating others about the paranormal. Tributes highlighted his role as a husband, father, and friend, with his work inspiring the paranormal community. Now, off the back of this, you know, tributes are pouring out all over the place because, you know, this is a very prominent figure within the paranormal world. The first one coming over on Facebook from the Paranormal Couples Haunted Museum, which of course is Cody and Satori. Again, regardless of what you think about Cody and Satori, I think that, you know, we can park those opinions for today, you know, in light of everything. And they posted, the paranormal field is mourning a sudden passing of Dan Rivera, paranormal investigator and longtime member of NESPR. Dan has been so kind, supportive and respectful to us, as well as to our museum. We send lots of love to his family, paranormal team and close friends during this difficult time, sharing some very lovely photos of them all together. Jake Arts over on his YouTube channel has also issued a video talking about the passing of Dan Rivera, rest in peace, where he talks about it, you know, and goes on to talk about how, you know, this person could clearly loved the paranormal field, regardless of however you think that it came about or whatever. You know, he clearly enjoyed what he did and he loved the paranormal field. It was clear to see. And there's also been an official press release by the NESPR themselves talking about this, and they stated, with heavy hearts we share the sudden and heartbreaking loss of our dear friend and colleague Dan Rivera. The New England Society for Psychic Research is devastated by his passing and still is coming to terms with the profound loss. Dan was not only a vital part of our team for over a decade, but also deeply compassionate, loyal, and a dedicated friend. A US Army veteran, Dan served both his country and the people around him. He worked closely with Lorraine Warren and remained by her side even as her health declined, always offering a steady hand and unwavering support. Dan was a constant presence with Lorraine and NESPR at local events such as An Evening with Annabelle, where his warmth and professionalism left a lasting impression. His integrity, creativity, and generosity defined him. Dan's passion for the paranormal was rooted in a genuine desire to educate, help, and connect with others, whether through social media, conventions, or investigations with local families seeking understanding and peace. Dan's strong faith was a guiding light in his life. He never wavered in his belief in God and often spoke about the spiritual side of the work that we do. We find comfort in knowing that he is now at peace, reunited with the loved ones who have gone before him. His caring nature and sense of purpose made a deep impact on everyone who had the privilege of knowing him. We understand that Dan's work inspired fascination and curiosity for many, but above all, he was a father, devoted husband, and a loyal friend, someone who meant the world to those closest to him. Out of respect for his family, we kindly ask for privacy as they mourn this tremendous loss. As we navigate the days ahead, we want to share that although we do not know what the future of the NESPR will look like without Dan, we do plan to move forward with the events previously scheduled for this year. We believe that with all our hearts that Dan would have wanted our work to continue, bringing people together, sharing knowledge and honouring the memory of Ed and Lorraine Warren. We will carry his spirit with us in everything that we do. In Dan's own words, quote, "In life, we leave a piece of ourselves with loved ones and friends on our journey until there are no longer pieces to give away. You would think that this is the end, but when you look back on all the pieces that you gave away, those pieces will always be remembered. So I say I will never die. My journey has only just begun." Dan gave so many pieces of himself through his kindness, his strength, his faith, and those pieces will live in all of us. Thank you for the thoughts and prayers and continued support during this difficult time. Dan will be missed more than words can express. Of course, you know, very touching tribute there from the NESPR. And, you know, of course, it's an incredibly sad day for the paranormal, but above all of that, for his family and his friends who, you know, I can only send my sympathy and love to in this time. And again, you know, please, if I can ask anything of anyone, please just keep it, you know, civil and respectful down in the comment section. I'm sure that people will. There's already a lot of speculation, of course, because, you know, he was handling the Annabelle doll and, you know, everyone's kind of putting two and two together and making five, speculating that the Annabelle doll was to do with the death. Personally, I don't believe so. The coronary officers said that, you know, the doll wasn't even present for his passing, you know. So let's just give everyone the space and privacy that they deserve. After this, we've obviously had the huge fallout from the Paranormal Files video, which included the Side-Eye Guy and Dawson Toller, a paranormal debunker and paranormal skeptic, which has fueled absolute outrage in the debunking and paranormal community. Well, there has been quite the stir. Many people have been asking me to cover this. Many people have been asking me to dive into this and give everyone the rundown of everything that's going on, because there's a lot of moving pieces in this. I wanted to hold out until everyone had their say, because I knew for a fact that basically everyone involved in this was going to jump in. There was a couple of other people that jumped in that I didn't see coming, but we'll get into that in just a moment. It is all to do with the Paranormal Files, or Colin's most recent video, including the Side-Eye Guy and Dawson Toller. Now, basically, he titled it Ghost Hunting with a Skeptic and a Debunker. The idea was that the Paranormal Files did a video with Dawson Toller, who is the skeptic, and the debunker, which is the Side-Eye Guy. It was, you know, premise-wise, a very good idea. Did anyone see the fallout coming? Probably. I think it was kind of inevitable, but I'm not here to pass judgment. I'm just here to let you guys know what is going on. So the video dropped, alright, and there was instant criticism aimed towards the video. The first video that kind of seeped out about this was from Boo Productions Paranormal, right? Who talked about the, the Paranormal Files investigating with skeptics. And basically the concept of his video was that, well, basically to kind of talk about what has gone on. So the idea is that, you know, Boo Productions disputes that Collins claims that investigations are experiments with skeptics, asserting that Dawson invited Colin for a collaboration, not an experiment. And then Boo strongly disagrees with Colin, labelling Dawson as a skeptic, emphasising that Dawson is not skeptical and is known for being open to paranormal experiences. So this was the first place where people kind of seemed to get their heckles up, especially in the debunking community, labelling Dawson as a skeptic, when in actuality, apparently, he's not skeptical at all. Apparently, he's very open to the paranormal and different experiences. So that was where people kind of got their heckles up to begin with. Now, Colin suggests in his video that skeptics who dismiss paranormal possibilities may hinder experiences, a point that Boo Production partially agrees with, but critiques as an oversimplistic, narrative of it. And then Boo argues that the true investigation involves debunking rational explanations before concluding paranormal activity, and he questions the validity of the devices like the DR60 being used in the investigations and certain apps used by Colin, which he believes to be produce unreliable results. Now, after conducting at the Old Park Hotel in Texas, the investigation with Dawson was less active than expected, and Boo challenges Colin's implication that Dawson's supposed skepticism caused the lack of activity, noting inconsistencies with the location's activity across multiple visits. Then we get onto the Side-Eye Guy's investigation from Boo Productions' point of view. And the second investigation was at the Nevada State Prison, as we are aware, with the Side-Eye Guy, which was more active. With reported bangs, shuffling noises, and other phenomena. Boo notes that Side-Eye Guy is a known debunker who took the investigation seriously and was open to experiences contradicting Colin's theory that skeptics prevent paranormal activity. Now, to conclude this video from Boo Productions, he basically states that Colin's experiment fails to prove that skeptics hinder paranormal experiences, as active investigations occurred with the Side-Eye Guy, a skeptic, while less active one involved Dawson, who is not a skeptic. So that was kind of Boo Productions' take on it, kind of being like, you know, he had some thoughts and opinions on the idea of Dawson being labelled as a skeptic, when apparently he's not. And, you know, basically kind of jumping on it from his point of view. The next person to kind of comment on the situation was Fantastique Publishing. Now, this person is a commentary YouTuber, I suppose, within the paranormal space, and they claim themselves to be a part of the debunking community. They uploaded a video titled "No One Is Above Scrutiny." Now, there were 3 people and 3 focal points of this video in particular that focused myself, Debunked Paranormal, and the Paranormal Files, of course. Now, the idea and premise of this video was to kind of talk about the fact that nobody should be above scrutiny regardless of, you know, what goes on within a video. Now, the idea is that, you know, they said that they made this video because they love the paranormal and debunker community and have been part of it for 5+ years, and addresses the need for scrutiny across all paranormal investigation channels to advance legitimate research prompted by 3 of the recent videos that include, like, from the channels that I've just mentioned. Now, they claim that no channel, whether fake or legitimate, should be exempt from scrutiny, and this is essential for the growth and credibility of the paranormal research. And scrutiny helps uncover deceptive practices and ensures integrity, benefiting the field by fostering learning and progress. Now, the debunking community obviously has very much grown in recent times, and this is something that Fantastique kind of labels within their video. Now, there was a response to 3 videos, like I stated. So the first one was from the Paranormal Files. So Fantastique criticises Colin's opening statements within the video, featuring collaborations between Dawson and the Side-Eye Guy, particularly for mislabeling Dawson as a skeptic. Once again, that was kind of a key talking point, and expressing disdain for the paranormal and for the debunking community, implying unfairly target channels. So just bear that thought in mind, because that's going to be pivotal for, like, what really kind of exploded this drama, like, you know, to the point where it kind of became drama. Before this point, it was just kind of people kind of, I guess, nitpicking, and then it became full-blown drama. But yeah, so we could see the writing on the wall here. You know, one person already kind of talking about, you know, mislabeling the paranormal and debunking community and kind of taking some alleged shots. They then talk about Debunked Paranormal, who analysed the Ouija Brothers' I Love You saga. Now, we all know about that saga, and, you know, there was a lot of noise surrounding that, because Debunked Paranormal made a video essentially talking about, you know, that saga, not necessarily debunking it, but more analysing it. People saw that it was a video on the Ouija Brothers and instantly was like, no, we're going to unsubscribe from this person, and all the rest of it. It became quite a cynical thing. And the idea of this video is, like, the Ouija Brothers shouldn't be above scrutiny or skepticism. And then there was my video. Now, obviously, within it, Fantastique claims that I misrepresent the Paranormal Files collaborations as a novel event, ignoring the long history of skeptic investigators collaborations. For example, Kenny Biddle, Beardo, and all the rest of it doing their own paranormal investigations. Now, I just want to clarify for the record, because I know that this is something that Beardo also said in his video, which we'll get onto in just a minute. I think people have misunderstood what I was trying to say. Now, 2 people have, you know, misrepresented it or misunderstood it, so clearly that's a shortfalling on my part. So let me just clear the record now, that I wasn't talking about, you know, debunkers doing paranormal investigations and, you know, collaborations, just full stop, because I know for a fact that Beardo does them with the Ouija Brothers or whoever, right? But my point was that this was a paranormal investigation between a debunker who has publicly called out a paranormal channel for being fake and, you know, taking jabs and shots at them, and the paranormal channel kind of, like, responding a little bit, and these guys kind of butting heads a little bit, putting those differences aside to then go and paranormal investigate together. We've never really seen that. We've never really seen a channel that's been called out by a debunker then go and investigate with said debunker. We've never seen that, as far as I'm aware. Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware. That's why this isn't a novel event, but this is, you know, a precedence. And I think this should be used moving forwards. Now, I know a lot of people will disagree with that. And a lot of people will be like, oh, you know, fakers shouldn't work with the real guys and all the rest of it. But, you know, I think that what the Side-Eye Guy and what the Paranormal Files have done is a good thing, ultimately. So I did leave a comment under Fantastique's video, kind of talking about this one and kind of, you know, clearing up. I think I kind of sum it up better in my comment, and I just stated, This is a really interesting video and thought-provoking. I just want to say, though, I feel like you misunderstood my take on all of this. Perhaps I didn't portray it well enough, and if so, then that's on me. When I was referring to this being the first time that we've seen a collaboration like this, I wasn't referring to collaborations of the debunking community. I was talking about the first time that we've seen a paranormal channel that's been publicly called out numerous times, putting aside their grievances and working together with someone that has publicly called them out. There isn't another time where it's happened on this size or scale. That specifically is what I was praising. I'm aware that the debunking channels collab with other investigators, but it is normally people that they deem to be legit, not someone that they've publicly called out. I hope this makes a bit more sense. Very good video, though, and please don't see this as anything negative from me. Just wanted to clear the record with that. Fantastic did not see this as a negative, and they actually took it on board and were like, all right, fair enough. Anyway, so that's kind of Fantastic's video talking about it. Then we get into where things went from 0 to 100. So Beardo then jumps into the situation, as I'm sure no one is surprised about. You know, the Paranormal Files, I'm annoyed. Obviously, my face is at the start of the video because for the reasons that I've just cleared up. You know, regardless, it doesn't really matter. And this is where things got interesting. So, obviously, for the same reasons that I've mentioned before, where, like, you know, Boo Productions and Fantastic have already criticised that labelling Dawson Toller as a skeptic when apparently he's not. And also, you know, Colin taking those shots at the beginning, allegedly, towards the debunking community. This is where Beardo chimes in. Now, obviously, he reacted to the video by the Paranormal Files, criticising Colin's portrayal of the collaboration with Dawson Toller and the Side-Eye Guy as a novel skeptical experiment. That was obviously me that he was talking about, and accuses Colin as being a known faker, weaponises the debunking community. So that's kind of the angle that Beardo goes into this at. Now, Beardo disputes that Colin's claims that the collaboration with the debunker Side-Eye Guy and the skeptic Dawson Toller is unique, citing prior examples of Mr. Gray's investigation with the Ouija brothers years earlier. And he accuses Colin of lying about the setup, noting that Dawson and the Side-Eye Guy invited Colin, not the other way around, and that Colin misrepresents the event as his own idea. Now, Beardo labels Colin as a faker and a con artist, pointing to his use of the DR60 recorder, a device known for producing false positives due to its unshielded microphone and evidence of a deliberate deception. And he references past incidents like the table tipping video where Colin's brother-in-law allegedly pushed the table as proof of Colin's dishonesty. Now, Beardo strongly refutes that Colin's description of Dawson as a skeptic, calling him a staunch believer in the paranormal who ignores skeptical critiques despite associating with debunkers. Now, one thing that was kind of noted in this was that Beardo labelled him, I can't remember the terminology used, basically called him clueless on the topic, which was something that people kind of picked up on later on. So he expressed frustration with Dawson's apparent cluelessness about the focus on clicks and views, questioning why he would even work with Colin knowing his reputation. Then he labels the Side-Eye Guy as a cynic. So Beardo describes Side-Eye Guy as a cynic, not just a skeptic who mocks the paranormal, but is open to investigating, contrasting him with Dawson's strong belief. And he suggests that Colin used the Side-Eye Guy's involvement to create a narrative against the debunking community. And then there's the narrative that Beardo runs with, which is weaponizing the debunking community. So Beardo accuses Colin of using the collaboration to take underhand shots at the debunking community, claiming Collins portrays debunkers as unfairly critical while ignoring his own deceptive practices. And he highlights Colin's contradictory statements, saying that he won't criticize the community but then does so, accusing debunkers of slander and bullying without evidence. Beardo then challenges Colin's claims that skeptics must believe in the paranormal to have experiences, sharing personal stories of unexplainable events. And then he also argues that many people, including his mother, have had paranormal experiences without prior belief, contradicting Colin's narrative and openness is required. Now, Beardo emphasises that the debunker's focus on analysing evidence is not dismissal for personal experiences without proof, and recounts respecting his mother's profound experience because it lacked video evidence to debunk. He advocates for logical, evidence-based approach to investigations, checking for rational explanations before considering paranormal causes. And then he goes on to talk about his refusal to work with known, well, quote-unquote, fakers. So Beardo reveals that he declined to collaborate with Colin due to his belief that Colin fakes his content, warning that working with fakers allows them to manipulate narratives as seen in this video. And he regrets that the Side-Eye Guy collaborated with Colin, believing it enabled Colin to exploit the debunking community for his own gain. And then Beardo urges fakers to be honest about their content and to leave the paranormal community, which should focus on legitimate investigation. And he calls for the community to avoid hate and bullying in the comments, anticipating Colin might cry quote-unquote cry bullying in response, but encourages constructive discussion with YouTube's terms of service. Now, obviously, Beardo's response was a lot more emotionally charged than that of Fantastique and Boo Productions that came prior to this, which is exactly why it's kind of sparked a bit more of a response from a lot of people. Now, after this video dropped, Fantastique, who we mentioned prior, has also dropped another video labelled Don't Prove Colin Right. And within this video, there's again more concerns about whether the paranormal community is in trouble because of the drama that's being fueled, and also because of this kind of mesh of fakeness and realness. All right, so basically, Fantastique tries to encourage people during this turbulent time to be just endure, and basically, she talks about the importance of the YouTube paranormal community. So the community, though small and lesser known globally, is significant for its focus on paranormal research and investigation. And Fantastique emphasizes the need to critique how the paranormal is researched, investigated, and discussed to keep the field legitimate and advancing. Now, obviously, drama is a constant in the paranormal community, and this is something that Fantastique comments on. And, it's driven by disagreements over content or actions, as exemplified by Beardo's recent upset with Colin from the Paranormal Files. And Fantastique acknowledges their own role in addressing drama through vlogs, but prefers focusing on the subject matter itself. Now, obviously, she then goes on to talk about this specific drama. So Beardo is the largest debunker in the community, criticised Colin for the video, obviously, as we know. And Fantastique previously covered Colin's video, obviously in the video that we mentioned earlier, criticising that his thinly veiled attacks on debunkers while being personal, while hypercritically making personal remarks himself. Beardo's frustration that Colin's stems from long-standing issues, though he had held back due to external factors. Now, many people obviously have not criticised the Side-Eye Guy, but because obviously they don't want to criticize him because he can make his own choices, but they've kind of steered into this idea that maybe it wasn't the greatest of ideas, which then sparked a response from the Side-Eye Guy himself. Now, this is why I was holding off, because I knew for a fact that there was no way that the Side-Eye Guy could just let this one slide, as much as I think, with all the noise being made, and, Beardo's emotionally charged response, Fantastique getting involved, Boo Productions getting involved, there's a lot of noise around this. And he responded with a video titled, My Response to Beardo's Paranormal Files Video and the Comments Section. Because, of course, the comment section in Beardo's video was... there were some critical comments of the Side-Eye Guy, so those are the comments that he's, responding to in particular. And he basically goes on to talk about his point of view of the collaboration. Now, obviously, the Side-Eye Guy responds to Beardo's video criticising Colin and the collaboration between Seg and Dawson Toller, aiming to clarify his perspective and address misconceptions without adding to the existing anger in the paranormal community. Now, Seg emphasises this is not an angry or negative response video, expressing the desire to avoid escalating drama and anger surrounding Beardo's critique. And he acknowledges Beardo's video, but notes it did not directly attack him, though the comments section contains accusations that Colin took advantage or fooled Seg. Now, Seg explains that the collaboration with Colin was simply 3 YouTubers, himself, Colin, and Connor, coming together, to film a ghost hunt in a Nevada state prison with no ulterior motives. He does not feel manipulated or deceived by Colin, describing the experience as a positive, consensual collaboration where they had a good time, ate together, and even shook hands. Seg is unsure who initiated the collaboration, but recalls discussing it with Colin when he was in Nevada, and Colin suggested the Nevada State Prison is also a location that he'd been to before. He gave as good as he got in banter during the shoot, maintaining the same critical energy he had in prior videos about Colin, which Colin accepted without seeking special treatment. Now, Seg rejects the narrative in Beardo's comments section and his own that he was a victim or fooled by Colin, emphasising that he will willingly participate and felt no deception occurred during the investigation. And he encourages viewers who are upset by the decision to collaborate with Colin to unsubscribe, asserting his rights to make such choices and, basically predicting future controversial collaborations. Now, Seg reiterates that his long-standing rule for collaborations, that he only works with people that he likes and enjoys spending time with, regardless of their reputation, as seen in past collaborations with Dawson Toller and Nightmare Nation. He values when question channels like Colin or Dawson show character by inviting him to investigate, as it aligns with his goal of bridging the gap between debunkers and ghost hunters through open collaboration. Now, Seg references a video from 11 months ago about Amy's Crypt collaboration with Chris Starr, where he expresses openness to working with controversial channels if he gets along with them, acknowledging potential backlash but standing by his approach. He contrasts in stance with Beardo's stricter rule against collaborating with quote-unquote fakers, respecting Beardo's position but defending his own decision to work with Colin. And Seg criticises the us versus them mentality in the debunker community, advocating for openness and to collaboration and to foster understanding even when those channels are accused of questionable practices. And he notes a similar backlash occurred when he collaborated with Dawson, who was initially criticised but later accepted by parts of the community, suggesting Beardo's dislike of Dawson is a separate issue. And then to round off the video, Seg clarifies that the video is not about defending Colin, who has a large platform and can defend himself, but addressing the misrepresentations of his own intentions in the collaboration. And he maintains his critical stance towards Colin's content, as evidenced by an upcoming reaction to Colin and Collar's earlier Nevada State Prison investigation, which he describes as funny and impartial. Now, basically, within the closing thoughts, he says that he dislikes making these responsive, ranty videos as they clutter his channel and considers removing them later, but right now he's undecided, so this video may not stay up for very long, and he hopes his viewers look forward to what he has coming up next. So, obviously, that's kind of where we're at. Beardo did do a live stream over on his channel labelled Aliens or Handbags, and basically within the live stream I watched up until the point where he kind of talked about the controversy. I think he was keen, based off of what I'd seen, he was keen to kind of talk about it because clearly it was an elephant in the room, and then he stated that he was going to talk about it and leave it there. Within that, he basically, doubles down on his video, does state that he regrets the way that he approached the whole Dawson situation, and he didn't really comment too much on the Side Eye Guys video, though I do believe he left a comment in the Side Eye Guys video talking about his point of view from it, so I'll kind of pull that up very quickly because I think that's important context for Side Eye. I should have pulled this up before. Basically talking about, it's just important context essentially, but I've got to wade through the comment section. But now, the comment section on the Side Eye Guys video, as you'll probably see as I'm scrolling, is a bit of a minefield. Some people stating that they were fans of Beardo, but now really strongly dislike this, drama chat direction that he's gone in. This is their words, not mine. Some people stating that they like it when he debunks but aren't too caring for his ranty videos that he does. There's a lot of mismatch. A lot of people saying, I stand by Beardo. A lot of people saying that they just don't like Beardo, full stop. But This is the response from Beardo. Appreciate the respectful response. You may have missed the point though. It was the investigation. I did make it clear I won't work with him or certain others. It was the post-investigation recording that Colin inserted that jabbed debunkers and the debunking community that pissed me off. Really pissed me off. It took advantage of you and the community in my eyes. As for the comments section, they are like that everywhere. Mine, yours, anyone's. You'll see that the 2 liars in your comment section I've responded to today. By the way, some of the unsub people will say the same again in a month, because I'm fully aware the same lady has unsubbed for me, may have unsubbed 3 times since. Side-Eye Guy has responded to this somewhere. Here it is. I didn't miss any points, just made the point that I wanted to address. Obviously, a very, very blunt response there from the Side-Eye Guy. So, you know, I'm not going to speculate. I am going to speculate. He does seem pissed. Whether he's pissed at the situation or whether he's pissed at Beardo's video, I don't know. You know, that's just speculation. But, obviously, there appears to be a bit of, based off of my interpretation of this, a bit of a rift caused by all of this. You know, Beardo's incredibly strong stance that the legit guy shouldn't work with fakers because guilty by association, and then the Side-Eye Guy's openness and being like, well, I don't care. Like, who cares? You know, it's one of those things where it was always going to cause some kind of rift. Now, it's worth noting that I've got a chat coming up with Colin from the Paranormal Files just to kind of talk about what's gone on. It's not going to be, you know, handbag slinging as my questions won't provoke that, at least. That's what I'm trying to say. But it's also an opportunity for Colin to kind of talk about the situation at hand. I've got a very busy weekend coming up and he's busy recording, so it may be a few days before we see that, but, you know, I'll be intrigued to see and chat with him, and if there's anything that you want me to ask in particular, leave it down in the comments. But while you're down there, 26 minutes, guys, 26 minutes of this, covering this. There's been a lot of moving factors. I hope that you guys are all kind of caught up, understanding where everyone is coming from. Following on from this, we had more unfortunate news regarding Dan Rivera and personal frustrations, if I'm perfectly honest, with regards to it, because, well, Dan Rivera's kind of passing is being overshadowed by the Annabelle doll. So I'm kind of disappointed not in the paranormal community. I think everyone's been quite respectful with regards to this, but more so the news outlets that have covered the Dan Rivera passing. Obviously, a couple of days ago at the time of you guys seeing this, we've had the news, and unfortunate news, that Dan Rivera of the New England, social research for psychic research group, sadly passed away whilst he was on the tour for Annabelle, the Devil on the Run tour. And, you know, of course, there was a really touching tribute from Cody and Satori. There was a really touching tribute from the NESPR themselves. There was touching tributes from across the community. But, of course, as news articles do, and as TikTokers do, they've taken this. They've seen that the guy that was handling the Annabelle doll suddenly passes away. Unknowingly. The cause of death hasn't even been released yet. And everyone's just like, I'm going to put 2 and 2 together and make 5. Annabelle was the reason that this person passed away. And, of course, you know, you can understand why that would be the thought process. Clicks, views, numbers, all the rest of it. But it comes across as incredibly disrespectful to the family, to the man that's just, you know, passed away, to the friends and loved ones of this person that they have tragically lost. And I'm disappointed. So there have been a multitude of videos obviously released across social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the rest of it, starting with this one right here. Breaking news is creepy AF.
I have some breaking news, and it is creepy AF. So a lot of y'all are familiar with this. The Annabelle doll. The same doll that's been on a cross-country tour. The same doll that was in Louisiana at the time that inmates broke out of jail, like 10 of them, and that a plantation caught on fire. The same Annabelle doll that the original handler said should never leave its home, should never be out of this specially made case, right? And jump scare warning, the same Annabelle that this movie was based on. Well, this man right here is 54-year-old Dan Rivera, and he is the current handler of it. He just dropped dead completely unexpectedly of completely unknown causes. Now, this happened when he stopped over in Gettysburg during his Devils on the Run tour. He apparently had the doll with him, at least that's what reports are saying. And then calls came in that something was going on. He was given CPR and just didn't make it. He seemed otherwise completely healthy. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know whether or not I believe in a possessed doll or not, but I can tell you this, there is no way in hell I would get anywhere near that doll. With all that said, drop your thoughts about this in the comments. Do you believe in stuff like this? What do you think happened to him? And as always, make sure to hit that follow button if you don't already.
Now, you've got to imagine, okay, that there's a family, grieving family, friends and loved ones who have just lost their loved one, you know, for unknown causes. And then media speculation starts to circulate that Annabelle completely overshadows this man's unfortunate passing. I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way. It feels wrong, you know? It feels like it just feels wrong. Now, the New York Post have also chimed in on this, as they've made an article. Paranormal investigator Dan Rivera dies suddenly on Annabelle Haunted Doll Tour. Paranormal investigator died suddenly on Sunday night while touring with the infamously supposed haunted Annabelle doll, his tour organisers have announced. Dan Rivera, the US Army veteran, was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania with his sold-out Devils on the Run tour when firefighters and medics were rushed to his hotel. CPR was performed, but Rivera, 54, died, according to the New England Society for Psychic Research, where he was a lead investigator. His exact cause of death remains unclear. Now, obviously, let's bear this part in mind because, you know, besides speculation, this is the fact, okay? Rivera was featured in The Paranormal Investigator on the Travel Channel's Most Haunted Places and served as the producer for the number of shows including Netflix's 28 Days Haunted. As part of his tour, Rivera was traveling around the US with the members of the NESPR to show off Annabelle, the creepy alleged haunted doll. His death came after he finished 3-day sellout stop in Gettysburg from Friday through Sunday, hosted by Ghostly Images of Gettysburg tours at the Soldiers National Orphanage, the NESPR said on Monday. Instantly, we're kind of drawing it straight back to Annabelle. Rivera, who has survived by his wife Sarah and 4 children, used social media, including viral TikToks, to bring the tour to international attention. Fellow paranormal investigator Ryan Buell paid tribute to Rivera. I've had so many amazing memories with this guy. Just as recently as 2 months ago, we travelled around the country and introduced a whole new generation to Ed and Lorraine Warren's legacy, he wrote on TikTok. Annabelle, a Raggedy Ann doll, was tied to a series of supposed hauntings in the 1970s after being given to a Connecticut nursing student named Donna. Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators, claimed the doll psychically lifted its own arms, followed people around the apartment, and would display other frightening or malicious behaviour. The couple also claimed that Annabelle had stabbed a police officer and caused a car crash involving a priest. A psychic medium claimed that the doll was inhabited by the spirit of a 6-year-old girl called Annabelle, and the Warrens said that it was demonically possessed and moved to the doll to their museum in Connecticut. The Warrens, who founded the NESPR in 1952, investigated a number of mysterious cases, including the Amityville Horror House and Long Island and the Annabelle doll. And then it kind of goes on to talk a bit more about Ed and Lorraine Warren and the museum. So, unfortunately, this man's passing, this tragic passing, you know, which should be paid tribute itself, is becoming completely overshadowed by the narrative of the Annabelle doll. Now, was this to be expected? Possibly. You know, you can understand why people would jump to this conclusion. Haunted Annabelle doll, the most haunted in the world, obviously, you know, featured in many films, including the Conjuring franchise. Man dies. Handler dies. You can see why people have jumped to this narrative. Is it right? No. But there's just more videos like this.
Dan Rivera just died suddenly during a haunted tour. Before I get into all the details, my name is Riri. I am an entertainment and pop culture news reporter, and you can follow me for more videos like this. Now let's get into it. In case you're unaware, the Annabelle doll is believed to be demonically possessed. There's a long and pretty scary history surrounding the doll. 54-year-old Dan Rivera was on tour with Annabelle. He was an Army veteran and lead paranormal investigator. Dan worked with the New England Society for Psychic Research. He was in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, and was found unresponsive in his hotel room. Dan's cause of death has not been publicly disclosed. According to TMZ, emergency crews performed CPR, but he sadly did not make it. Dan was involved in paranormal research and investigation for over a decade. He had witnessed paranormal events in his own home from an early age. His workplace shared a Facebook post mourning the loss. They say, "We are heartbroken and still processing this loss." Dan truly believed in sharing his experiences and educating people on the paranormal. Just a few days ago, he shared a video of Annabelle arriving in Gettysburg. I think it's really eerie that Dan is an Army veteran and he passed away in Gettysburg, which is believed to be one of the most haunted battlefields in American history. Not sure if there's any correlation there or if it's just a coincidence, but it does give me chills. If you are familiar with the history of the Annabelle doll, then you may remember Ed and Lorraine Warren, who have both passed away. They actually founded the company that Dan worked for before his passing. Here is a little bit of history on Ed and Lorraine in case you're not familiar. Ed and Lorraine explicitly warned Dan never to remove Annabelle from her glass case. Although he reportedly received permission from the Warren estate to travel with the doll, in 2024 he did say that they never opened the case. He said the doll stays locked in. That's what Lorraine instructed, and we respect that. The Warrens believe that the only thing keeping the evil contained in Annabelle is the glass case that she is put in. And like I said, Dan followed that rule, at least publicly. The details surrounding his death are still unclear. Either way, it is such a tragedy. He was only 54 years old. Sending his friends and family so much love during this time. Let me know your thoughts down below. And
do you know what I mean? It's like the narrative always spins back to Annabelle, and I don't know. I just feel like it rubs me the wrong way. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Obviously, let's try and keep the focus on the passing, you know, and respect that and respect the family, because yeah, I don't know. And then we had some huge news regarding Sam and Colby and some of the things that they've just done, which are absolutely insane. Sam and Colby, YouTube royalty when it comes to, well, just their influence and power they're just a juggernaut, really, especially in the paranormal world. The biggest to kind of do it at the moment, starting out in Urbex, moving across to the paranormal and really making it their own. Now, many people have, criticised Sam and Colby over the years, but there is no denying that in 2025 and 2024, they have been moving incredibly mad. Now, 2024 for Hell Week, they announced that they had purchased a haunted school, the Farrar Haunted Elementary Museum, or, elementary school, and opened it up to the general public to do paranormal investigations under the Sam and Colby banner. Hell Week, of course, was all centered around this. It was a 3-part thing. It was pretty huge. Moving into 2025, they've just, basically in the space of about 2 weeks, announced 2 new features to their arsenal. The first one being an escape room. What? Now, this is pretty cool. So over on their Twitter, they announced on June 28th that they've opened an actual escape room. A dream became a reality on Hollywood Boulevard. In the asylum, you must face fears, summon demons, and you might see familiar faces. Cannot wait to see it. You can get tickets below. So they've opened up an escape room on Hollywood Boulevard, which is pretty dope, I can't lie. It looks incredibly exciting. And as you can imagine, people have gone absolutely mental for it. Now, it's not even that crazy expensive to kind of go there, really. It's actually quite reasonably priced, for an escape room at least. Obviously, they've, put it up on a website and stuff and all the rest of it, with all of the information that you need for it. It's got its own Instagram and Facebook page. It's quite an exciting thing. And obviously, it's one of those things where they open it up and it's just to generate, I suppose, income. Which is, no one can blame them for that. But yesterday, they announced something that I don't think anyone could have possibly seen coming. So they've been teasing something coming for the past week or so, stating it's unlike anything that they've done. And when you think that they've been in the cinemas, they've been in, they've got their own haunted location, they've got now their own escape rooms, what could there possibly be left? Well, I didn't see this one coming, but they've teamed up with Hunter Killer Incorporated to create their very own paranormal board game. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that is legit. We made our very own board game with Hunter Killer Inc. It's called The Haunting of Wicker Ridge. And we need your guys to help investigate this demonic house. This is a chance to see what it's like on a paranormal investigation with us. It has real ghost hunting equipment inside and exclusive videos to help you solve the mystery. I doubt that you can do it. And it is out now. So if you go over to the website, obviously... Well, actually, I'll just show you this image. This was the image that they kind of teased with it. So the box art there, you've got Sam and Colby, some of the investigative stuff, obviously a planchette for a Ouija board. I'm not sure what the book's all about, but they claim it has legit paranormal investigation stuff. Now, just speculation, but based off of what I've looked at, okay, it looks as if this is a difficulty level 1. So this tells me that there's going to be other board games, like this is going to become a series of board games. If this, I should imagine this will be like a pilot. If it's a success, they'll probably create a little like series of these board games, increasing the difficulty each time. It's quite a cool idea. I can't lie to you. I really do like this idea. If you go over to the website of hunterkiller.com, right, it retails for about $30, which isn't too bad. It's had 24 reviews already, but I don't know how people could possibly leave reviews at this current time when it's just been released, so people won't even have a physical copy of it anymore at this current time, I don't think. You can only order it. But as you can see, there's a bunch of images on the website that goes with this, and yeah, here you can see again easy mode. So this is at least 1+ player game. Takes about 90 to an hour and a half to 2 hours to complete, allegedly. Dive into the world of paranormal and help Sam and Colby banish an unwelcome demon. Difficulty level easy. So this does tell me that there's probably going to be more should this one become a success, and then they'll probably increase the difficulty level each time. It looks like this is what's going to be inside the box. So you've obviously got the box, a planchette, a bunch of different drawing sketches and photos and stuff, paranormal devices, all the rest of it. Captivating stories to dive into the mystery and use your detective skills to crack the cases. Suspicious characters, trust no one as you investigate alibis, clues and forensic evidence, detailed puzzles, soul-satisfying puzzles, ciphers and codes to unlock important information. This looks like it's everything inside the box. So it's a bit like a whodunit kind of paranormal investigation, crime, understanding game. Almost like a Cluedo meets paranormal, I guess. It's quite a cool concept, I can't lie to you. And also there's exclusive Sam and Colby content, which I'm sure everybody's going to want to try and get their hands on, because Sam and Colby fans are ride or die. Down in the in the reviews, which I just find it mad that there's actually reviews already out there. So it's got a 4.21 out of 5 stars based on 24 reviews. I don't know, again. Anyway, perfect. I got a $100 gift card for my birthday and activated it before my shower. Got out of the shower, got dressed and saw this notification. And then, where they had basically announced it. 5-star. They don't ship it to Norway, unfortunately. I wonder if they ship it to the UK. I'll be intrigued. I would love to give this a go. 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. I'm intrigued to see what the 1-star reviews are, because I don't know how someone could possibly. Here we go. What about Mexico? Okay, so 1-star because it doesn't go to Mexico, can't be posted. So that's what people's grievances are. Don't ship to the UK. Damn it. That means I can't get my hands on it. I will actually pay someone. I will give you the money to purchase this game if you're in America and to ship it over to me, because I want to see it. I'll do an unboxing and review of the game. I'll be intrigued. Please, if anyone can help me out with that, please reach out to me and I will absolutely pay you, and I'll pay you for your service as well. Don't you worry. So, yeah, let me know what you guys think about this. But over on their Instagram page as well, of course, they've announced it. It's the same image for Twitter, but they also released a little video to go alongside it.
In this game, you get exclusive videos from our paranormal investigation.
Secret videos that you're only going to see if you get this game.
Guys, we went hard for this game. Check this out. We got newspaper clippings. We give you a bunch of evidence we found on our investigation.
Read it and then find the clues. Guys, it gets freakier and freakier as it goes.
We also have ghost hunting equipment. Check this out. We're going to give you a planchette. Oh my god, it is so red. We have other ghost hunting equipment. We have a ghost communication device, as well as everyone's favorite, crystals. You're going to need this one to cleanse your cell. We have everything you need to be part of a true Sam and Colby video. This is seriously as close as we could possibly get to having all of you part of one of our investigations. Haunting at River Ridge is available right now, so go check it out by clicking the link in bio.
You guys know what to do. We love you. Thank you so much.
Dude, not again. Oh.
So, as you go through as well, you can see, obviously, it's just a bunch of channel art and promotional stuff for the for it. So, people are excited about this. I think this is a really cool idea. I've never seen this done before. You know, especially in the paranormal world, this is definitely a first. I think, you know, it's got the potential to be quite good. I want to get my hands on it myself, like I say, so if anyone can help me out with that, please let me know down in the comments. What do you guys think about all of this? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below, and I look forward to catching up with you guys soon. Peace.